Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Planet LIZZDOM Season 2, Episode 2. Can you believe we're already here? We're halfway through January. I can hardly understand it. Guys, I am so excited for this evening's episode. I feel like 17-year-old me is freaking out right now, and 45-year-old me is freaking out too. Guys, you know him from Kids in the Hall. You know him from This Hour Has 22 Minutes. Say that 5 times fast. He's won 2 Geminis, 1 Emmy, and a very prestigious Writers Guild of Canada award, and probably many more that I don't know about. But best of all, guys, he's won our hearts. And tonight, I hope he'll win our hearts again. Guys, I want you to give a very warm and very Canadian welcome to the amazing Paul Bellini. Paul, how are you?
Hello, Liz. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to hear you. Let's see if I can fix my audio. It's being a little bit feisty all of a sudden. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. I'm really thrilled to be in your show, actually.
Oh my gosh, I was so thrilled when you said yes. I literally, guys, it was a Hail Mary last week. I had a last minute cancellation. I thought, you know what? Why don't I just ask?
There you go. That's all it takes.
It's all it takes sometimes. And, I have to say, I've been a fan since Kids in the Hall first came about. I have to say it was really nice to go down memory lane and do more research and creep you more and learn more about you. There's actually quite a bit that I didn't know about. So I'm really, really excited to kind of explore all of that with you.
You mean the murder rap?
The murder rap, Mouth Congress, all sorts of things. Like, there's just so much that you are up to. And, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, guys, reach out with a comment because this show is all about you. And right off the top, my sister says, hello. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Monica.
She, honestly, I have to say, Monica is the smarter of the two of us. She's a brilliant mind. She's kind of my unofficial writer, and I hope to give her an award someday. I wanted to tell you off the bat, Kids in the Hall single-handedly saved our high school art trip to New York back in the 90s.
Ooh, wow.
You'll remember when coach buses only had those little tiny screens on a VCR. Do you remember that back in the 90s?
I don't think I was ever taking buses back then.
Okay, well,
I get your idea.
Long story short, in this bus were probably about 40 teenagers, and that's already a nightmare for the driver.
Ah,
And driving to New York was many, many hours, and nobody thought to bring a movie except my sister Monica, who brought 2 VHS tapes full of Kids in the Hall episodes. So I
wow.
think we probably touched Bellini about 12 times on our way to New York.
Oh, that's sweet. And you still cross the border with no problem. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is back in the 90s. They didn't do any credit checks or background checks. Bus full of kids. They were like, come on in.
So Monica just put up a quote from They Live by John
Yep.
Carpenter, which I watched for the first time about a week ago.
No way.
Yeah, my boyfriend put it on, and I'd never seen it. And it's got that line, and I went, "That's where that chewing gum line comes from."
Yes, it's such
Now
a
I
great
know.
movie. Such a great movie. Oh, there's my brother. The family has arrived.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Jeff's actually asking a really great question at the top. He's asking, are those googly eyes on your collar?
Oh, these. I got these at a friend of mine, my friend Linda Paolucci bought them for me. They are googly eyes. I don't know if you can see them. I'll get closer.
Oh,
Um,
that's so
she got
cool.
them at Eyesore Cinema on Bloor and near Duff, just past Dufferin. And they're so cute. Somebody made them. And I thought I'd wear them tonight to show that I'm all seeing.
You are all
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah.
That's very, very awesome. Oh, well, Ryan already wishes he could touch you. Thank you,
Okay.
Ryan.
Well, you never know.
Now, I have to say, being a Canadian celebrity and one of Canada's sweethearts for sure, how often do you get asked in the day if people can touch you?
Actually, very rarely.
Really?
Yeah. I think the thing with the Kids in the Hall fan base is that it's international. So in my Toronto neighborhood, I'm more known for being a gay magazine columnist because I did that for 11 years than I am for being the towel guy. Because you got to remember, in the gay community, everybody wears a towel at the baths. So it's not such a big thing, right?
That's true. That's true, actually. I wanted to talk about that actually, being a columnist for a magazine. I think that's really, really cool.
I loved it. For 11 years, I got invited to all kinds of cool things, like art gallery openings and liquor tastings. All the liquor tastings are the best, of course. One time, I met with a mixologist who had created 4 cocktails for the royal wedding. Remember when Kate Middleton got married?
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
I drank all 4. It was about noon, and I remember staggering home at 1:30 in the afternoon thinking, "I am so drunk." It was great fun.
Oh, I miss those days so much. It's true.
Drinking in public? Yes, of course. But,
Oh,
yeah, that was my fab column gave me those opportunities, and I love doing it because it opened also, I interviewed over 250 people, most of them in the gay and queer community or our arts community. So I know everybody
oh yeah, I suppose so,
in
eh?
Toronto anyway, so
Oh my gosh, I just sounded so Canadian. I suppose so, eh?
Oh, so, yeah.
Yeah, good job, ah. Did you share a teamies? It's funny. I don't know about you, but I don't really realize that I'm Canadian until I'm talking to someone who's not.
Yeah. Or like when you meet an American and they say things like, "Do you have the Bible in Canada?" You know, those kind of people.
Or like they ask if it's snowing in July. It's like,
Yeah,
well, it depends what part of Canada you're in.
yeah. They
You
get
know,
snow too, please.
gosh,
Grow up, as Joan Rivers would say.
I loved Joan Rivers so much. Oh my gosh. Actually, you know what? I watched the other day I was watching a lot of older women in comedy, like older footage of women in comedy. And Joan Rivers was coming up. Um her and Carol Burnett were just some of my favorite comedians.
Honestly, that's well, my growing up, being a little gay kid growing up in Timmins in 1973. For me, Carol Burnett and Mary Tyler Moore were huge, but the gold standard was Beatrice Arthur as Maud. And I
Yeah.
probably learned more about comedy from watching Maude than maybe any other comedian. Although I remember Dean Martin's show. Do you remember Dean Martin's show in the 70s? He
Oh
always
yeah.
pretended to be drunk, and he literally only showed up that day and wouldn't rehearse
Yeah.
to give this sense of spontaneity. And he's constantly breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, yeah.
That inspired me more than I think any other kind of comedy were those two people.
We watch a lot of Dean Martin in this house, so I can absolutely relate. He was the king of spontaneity,
He was
you
just
know?
so cool. It's like
That's
he
so
didn't
cool.
care. It was a remarkable show what he pulled off. I thought he was really great.
Absolutely, and he was one of those, triple threats. He can act, he can sing, he can dance, he can do everything,
Yes, I like to
you
think I
know?
can do that too.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm so glad that you're telling me about your early influences because I wanted to discuss what brought you from A to Bellini.
Ah,
I've been dying to say that all day.
well, what you mean, like growing up? Like I was one of those little
Yeah.
kids. I was very creative. I lived in a world of creativity. Like my uncle used to come and babysit me when I was about 6 or 7, and he wanted to watch the hockey game, and I had no interest in sports. So he'd bring me some pencil crayons and legal paper, foolscap,
Yep.
and he'd fold it in half, and he'd say, "Make a magazine for me." And I would spend hours making a magazine for Uncle Freddie while he enjoyed hockey and whatever else. Um, and I was very craft oriented, and that's something that's always been with me. I'm still like that. I'm a busybody. I have to have something to do.
Very, very cool. I didn't know that about you actually. I my sister and I started a zine in high school, and I up until the pandemic was running a zine as well. So I absolutely relate and appreciate how much fun it is to put together a publication. I mean, and how funny that it informed your direction into being a columnist with Fab Magazine and being a writer.
Before that, when I was in high school, I was the yearbook editor for 1 year and assistant editor for 2 years. And I had a newspaper column in the Daily Press about high school activities, the TH and VS column. Um, I was one of those kind of obnoxious kids. I mean, I needed a million things to do to keep me
Oh
busy.
yeah, me too.
And none of them were sports.
Yeah. Did you ever go to band camp?
No, I have no musical ability whatsoever.
But I'm assuming drama was probably somewhere on the menu.
Drama
Drama.
club saved my life. It brought me into a world of weirdos, many of them gay or lesbian, and sometimes just very non-conforming or rebellious people or troubled people. And it was a family. And for 3 years, we used to do these major musicals every year. We did The King and I and Fiddler on the Roof and My Fair Lady, these big mega productions that we'd do like 6 performances. We'd do a whole week of shows.
Wow.
Um, that to me, that was phenomenal, a phenomenal experience and basically shaped who I am.
I hear that so often from so many highly creative folks that drama club really did change the course of their life, myself included. You learn about yourself when you're on the stage. You develop a skill set that transcends not just performance but your life.
Well, I realized early on that my strength was not in performance, that it was in backstage, it was in creating, it was in, developing stuff. Who's this? So Rochelle did makeup, costume, and set design. Which
Yeah.
musicals? I'm just wondering.
Ooh, Rochelle, let us know. While Rochelle is letting us know, Donna would like to know who your fabulous tailor is. I know you were telling me before the show.
This jacket was designed and made by a woman named Gina Anki, who runs Theatrics Costume House in Toronto, which I think is now at like around Queen and Niagara. I'm not sure. You'd have to look it up.
Okay.
And at the time, she had a different location. She was very nice. She offered to build me an outfit. She said, either, we'll build you something or take anything in the store. I said, I want a gold suit because I had seen it on the Elvis Presley record. The Elvis is in the full gold suit.
Hmm.
And I thought, that looks good. So she did. She made me jacket and pants. I'm not wearing the pants, or else I'd stand up and show you. Yeah, Gina and Theatrics, God bless her. She's a genius. Um, She actually did a lot of the Mouth Congress costumes for our show.
Okay.
Uh,
Very, very cool.
but the jacket, I've had it for about 10 years. I wear it as often as possible. It, let's be honest, it gives me a little class.
It looks fantastic on you. The instant you put it on, I was just like oohing and awing and freaking out. It's wonderful. You know?
And look at that.
Oh,
Look at
it
the
is
way it
gorgeous.
catches light. It
The
is
light
gorgeous.
is the light hits it beautifully. Oh, Rachel's telling me that she used to, or she worked Stop the World, I Want to Get Off, Cabaret, and Sweet Charity. Okay.
Sweet Charity. That's too interesting. Bob Fosse movies. Contemporary, a lot of hookers and stuff. Whereas we did like My Fair Lady. It's so classy. Fiddler on the Roof, very dignified shows. I'm going
Fun
to change
fact.
the lighting. Hang on a second. Alexa, change the office light blue.
Oh, I love Alexa.
Isn't that a little more relaxed instead of good old Alexa? She is. Okay,
Absolutely.
Alexa, stop talking now.
Fun fact, in public school, my best friend and I started a Pygmalion club because we were obsessed with My Fair Lady. And that, folks, is the secret to becoming popular in a small town. No.
Worked for me.
Yeah, it successfully ostracized us for the rest of our public school career. Wouldn't it be lovely? Oh my gosh, everyone's talking about hookers now. All right, guys. Oh, Monica's asking, Paul, are you wearing any pants?
Yeah,
She's not asking if I'm wearing pants, but if you are.
but a really ugly Kmart sweatpants. So please don't ask to see them.
Nice.
Give me a shred of dignity.
Yes.
Just use your imagination.
Oh my God, Monica's saying, I forgot all about that. My sister, the nerd. Yes, yes. And Donna's saying that her school couldn't afford to do My Fair Lady. They did Lurking on the Railroad.
What is that? Was that a production number or is that a show?
Oh, that sounds like an after-school drinking special.
It's lurking. It's got a weird sexual connotation.
It does. Oh my gosh. You know what? I was talking the other day about getting busted lurking on Facebook. I forget who's, when you go down that rabbit hole of you see a photo, you see someone you knew back in the day, and all of a sudden you somehow end up on their profile going back through photos. And without even thinking about it, I just liked a photo. I was like, oh my God, they're going to know I was here. I wasn't supposed to be here. Stupid.
You mean people can see when you're lurking?
Right. Well, it didn't make any sense because why would I randomly like that photo?
I don't know.
For the record, I don't do that very often.
Liz, don't give up every secret. Not in this hour.
Trust me, I am a full book of fun. Actually, speaking of fun, tonight, remember, we were doing our tech rehearsal yesterday, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to wear. Today, I actually gave myself a challenge. I went to Value Village about an hour before the show, and I looked for the ugliest shirt I could find, and I successfully found this piece of work here.
Wow.
I'm not sure if this is the bow or the pie symbol, but I think it's pretty awesome.
You lucked out.
$2.99, folks.
That is a Mouth Congress wardrobe piece if I've ever seen one.
I gotta say, as hideous as it is, it's really comfortable.
That's what matters.
Even if it was itchy, I would have suffered through it because I wanted to wear the ugliest thing I could find because really at the end of the day, it's about the laughs.
It's about the laughs.
It's about the laughs.
I agree. Why do you think I would become famous walking around wearing a towel? I'm a very shy person who is mortified by the idea when I was in gym class and we'd have shirts and skins.
Yeah.
I'd always end up on the skins team, and it was mortifying. And I always had body issues throughout my entire teenage years. And then all of a sudden, the kids in the hall presented me with this weird option.
Yeah.
To be bare-chested on television. And for some reason, at that instant, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I don't care anymore. And it was an impulsive decision. but it really did kind of liberate me in a way because you let go of all that baggage, all that teenage baggage.
Yeah.
I was when I did the towel guy, I wasn't that young. I was about 30, right?
Okay.
Um, so I'd had at least 15 years of agonizing over this. And it was just such a weird opportunity. And also I wanted to be on the show. It was the only way I could get on the show.
Well, and and I can relate. And here's the funny thing: when I was going through your photos today for things to present, I discovered that you are actually a very handsome man.
Thank you.
Like I gotta say, you're a good looking guy. Like even with that porn mustache, I'm just like, hot damn! Like look at this Bellini does Fellini, guys. Like come on.
Yeah, the mustache was pretty hot, I gotta admit.
Well, and there is something to be said about getting rid of those barriers. I grew up in ballet. I had huge issues with everything. Nothing is ever perfect, nor will it ever be. But there is something very liberating about just doing, being yourself. Like I'm constantly giving myself a double chin and looking ridiculous just to get rid of that.
No,
Hang on.
the most horrible thing about being young is that you can't get to that part, that moment. You know, when I did publicity photos, I wanted to look like Liz Burton, what's her name? Liz Taylor on the cover of Hollywood Babylon 2, where she's like sitting in the back of the limo and she looks really fat and drunk.
Oh
And
yeah.
I thought, I'm going to celebrate the triple chin. And I remember doing these stupid photos with a professional photographer. They're very funny. But at the same time, that's what I use to send out to people.
Honestly, Paul, I would love to do a double chin selfie with you one day because I am the queen of the double chin photos. My
You
friends
gotta
and I
own
have
it.
a contest.
You gotta own it.
I win every time, let me tell you.
Do you remember that show? Well, you're too young to remember. Family. It was a TV show in the 70s, and it starred this woman named Seda Thompson, and she
Okay.
had a triple chin. And they would do everything possible to hide it. They'd light her from above. They'd put scarves. They'd blur the frame, like the side of the lens. I remember I watched. I was fascinated by this
Wow.
show because they did everything possible to hide this woman's triple chin. It was
Oh my
great.
gosh, that is so funny. It's like, folks, come on. Like, the world is full of different shapes and different sizes and different kinds of people. Like,
No,
why?
in
No?
the 70s, you didn't know that.
This is true, actually. I was born in 76. I grew up in the 80s. Um, I saw a lot of things that told me that, I'm supposed to look a certain way. Oh, hey!
Oh, it's Mysterion. He's
That,
okay. When I had a Fab column, I interviewed Chris, and I did
okay.
a column on Mysterion, which we had great fun. I remember it was something about flipping through a book and finding a weird word, and I came up with the most obscure song I could think of, and he guessed it. It was just great.
I love it. Well, I don't know if you knew, but that's all his photos and magic awards right there.
Are you like his girlfriend or something?
I am. I'm his old lady.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Go say hi to him for me. It's been a
I
long
will.
time.
Um, now, moving forward, I show you this because, back in the day, I wanted to win and touch Bellini. And I found this photo today of the 1-800 number. And I want to show you guys what happened when I dialed that. So let me just get
Oh,
this
I
for
can't
you.
wait.
All right, you ready? This is what happened when I dialed the 1-800 number. Coming to you in a second. My stream deck is acting up. There we go. So that's what actually happened. I dialed it and it said, "Thank you, goodbye." Click.
Hey, at least it said thank you.
It was the
What
funniest
matters?
thing. But I was like, how can I win if I can't get through?
Well, I remember, I think the CBC had to buy that number for the purposes of the contest. I don't remember if it was functional. The second contest was a craft contest. You had to do a drawing of me coming out of a condom box.
Yes.
So that was an actual physical entry, and those are fabulous. I still have those somewhere.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we drew some and sent them in.
Well, I've got them. I kept all of them. And but the first one was just phone in, and your name goes into a drum, and like a charity bingo, and you pick one out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, that's awesome. And it's the sort of thing where I didn't know I was competitive until this contest came around.
Mhm.
And I kept trying to enter and I kept trying to win. And I was like, I literally been thinking to myself, what would I do if I got to touch Bellini? And all week everybody's like, well, are you gonna touch Bellini? How are you gonna do it? What like, are you gonna use a stick? Or what are you gonna do? And I said, guys, Bellini's on the other side of the camera. How am I gonna touch him? And then I came up with a very, very elegant solution.
What is that?
I made a Bellini.
Is that like a pillow?
It's a little Bellini doll. And I didn't have any stuffing, so I used Gain dryer sheets. So you saw amazing.
So it smells gorgeous.
So here
That's
I am touching Bellini. And I'm gonna touch your nose and pick it. And
oh,
I've got a Bellini booger. Ah! Here, let
I
me wipe
love
it off
the
your
leg
towel.
positioning. It's like I've got my legs crossed like Esther Williams or something.
Yeah. Well,
Did I ever pose for that picture?
I don't. This was the photo that I got it from. But then I
Uh,
was like, well, how would you do your legs? And I was like, well, this looks like those vintage sideshow pinballs that you would use to throw with balls. So I was like, well, why don't I just make you look a little bit vintage and cross your legs and
love that.
there you
Mm. I'm too close to really,
go. Exactly. So
very elegant.
I've been having lots of fun with this on TikTok. Stay tuned because you're going to see lots of ridiculousness.
Ah,
So there we go. Now I have technically touched Bellini.
oh well, you know what? Here, I I'll drag these out. So when we did the show, um, Bruce wrote a sketch called Bellini Day, which is set in the future, and it's about how I'm like Jesus, and uh, it's Bellini Days like Christmas, and they created these little tree ornaments.
Oh my gosh, those are so cool.
You don't really see them too well in the sketch, but they're pretty adorable.
Oh
It's
my
just this
goodness.
little it's a little fat monk that they got in some kind of dime store novelty, and they painted it and put a little towel on it. I guess it's really hard to this
Oh, that is
camera is not.
so cool.
Then, in anticipation of the return of Kids in the Hall in April of this year, um, this showed up, and this is a little Bellini deity made from a 3D printer. And I think this company's actually going to be manufacturing them. I told them make it a little fatter. I mean, I wish I was that thin, honestly.
No, that is so awesome. I love 3D printing. I think it is just so neat.
So I love becoming what do you call it? A toy, an
Yeah,
ornament. It's
you've
so fun.
you've become a Hasbro.
Hasbro. There are likenesses of me for some weird reason. I don't know.
Well, I tried to make you look. I tried to make your face look like your face. Like it's actually not so easy to get someone's likeness.
I think you did a really good job on the belly, especially the hair pattern, that little trail that goes down my belly towards the crotch. Looks really good.
Thank you. I was hoping
But the
you would
breasts are
appreciate that.
rather white for some reason. It's like I'm wearing a bra.
Well, you know what it was? I was worried that there wouldn't be any depth, so I kind of left this white and the
I don't
face
look
white.
like these. The breasts look like these eyes.
That's really funny. That was unintentional. I was just trying to get some depth there. Actually, it looks like you fell asleep on a tanning bed.
Yeah, with my hands. Liz, I still love it.
Thank you. You still smell fantastic.
There you go. What am I, bounce sheets or something?
Yeah, the Gain. I'm obsessed with
Great.
Gain. If I could get a Gain fragrance, like perfume, I would totally wear it all the time.
Mm.
My brother actually noticed something that I had done as an Easter egg. I was watching Kids in the Hall earlier today. Mark McKinney was wearing a Codco shirt in one of his sketches, so I wrote Codco on Peter's shirt in the cartoon. So good job, Chris. Good catch.
Codco we loved, and we basically stole their director.
Is that what happened? Because I grew up watching Four on the Floor and Codco, and Tommy Sexton was my man.
Yeah, he's a
Really?
super talented person.
Oh, so amazing.
Super talented.
Yeah,
Great writer, an incredible performer. He could sing and dance. He's really good.
absolutely. He was
But
one of my favorites.
I think their first 2 seasons were directed by John Blanchard, and the kids were looking for a director, and someone suggested John Blanchard. He had also worked on SCTV.
Ah, okay.
Um, so he came with great credentials, but I remember the first 2 years of Codco for me were, like, almost gold standard for sketch comedy, and I tell my students that, "You've gotta see this show," but it's hard. The Newfie accents are a little impenetrable, and
Yeah,
it's I mean, they're so gifted with characterizations, though. I mean, Kathy and Mary went on to become pretty famous. Well, actually, they all did, let's be honest, they all
yeah,
had great careers, so did Andy and Greg.
absolutely.
Poor Tommy didn't last very long,
I
unfortunately.
know.
But that was a super troupe and
Oh yeah.
just astonishingly good. So I love that you paid homage to Codco because I love them.
Thank you. I didn't realize that you love them like I love them, and I'm really even more touched about it because, you know, when I was growing up, I didn't have cable. We had black and white TV. We had CBC, CTV, and on a really good day, TVO.
Yeah.
And I would look forward to watching Four on the Floor and Codco every week. I think Four on the Floor was more of a special. I don't think it was weekly, but Codco was.
Uh,
And
that's a good question. I can't remember, but Redican worked on Kids in the Hall for several years. We love Dan Redican. Did a lot of live shows with him. Um, Before the Floor, Mr. Canoe Head and Boot in the Head are fabulous sketches. They really work. I wish there was more of that on YouTube. Unfortunately, there's not that much of them.
it's
But
true.
those two pieces are really good.
Well, it's funny if you can go anywhere in Canada, and if you say "boot to the head," guaranteed someone's going to go la la
Yeah,
somewhere. It's iconic.
it is. It really is.
Now, having worked in comedy for the amazing amount that you have, do you have any specific scenes that you are so proud of writing?
From Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall this hour has 22 minutes. You name it. Like, what really sticks out in your mind where you go, you know what? I am proud of that.
There's a scene that Scott and I wrote on Kids in the Hall called "Needed Elsewhere," and it's about a gay couple and a straight couple who come for dinner. And one of the gay guys is doing cocaine upstairs in the bathroom.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah, and he keeps running up and down, and I remember at the time we were angry at Mark McKinney for some reason, so we cast him, but we didn't give him any lines. And Mark, he's a genius. When he was figuring out the character, he asked for these giant teeth, and so he had no lines, but every one of his reaction shots stole the show because he'd go like this, and it was so funny. And I remember thinking, "Damn, Mark, unbelievable. He is so smart. He
That is
always knows what to do." And the scene I thought was just one of the best things Thompson and I ever wrote. I love that scene. One of my favorites.
It is so funny. Absolutely. Like I actually was watching that about 2 weeks ago. Now that we can get Kids in the Hall on, I think Amazon Prime,
Amazon.
we've just been binging it like crazy. And yeah, that that sketch became funnier to me after I had lived a little in the city and partied and done a lot of ridiculousness. And all of a sudden I could really kind of relate to it on a very different level.
Yeah, and it's loaded with in jokes. Like the couple's name are Chuck and Olivia, I think, and which are the names that they used on some CBC show, like I think Side Effects or
Okay.
One of those, the one with, Cynthia Dale.
Oh,
What was
Street
it
Legal?
called? Street Legal. Yeah, I think
I
it was Chuck and Olivia. So we were always, like, quoting other CBC shows just for fun, you know?
That's right, Chuck and Olivia. That's right, right, because they
Yeah,
had their office right on Queen
your chips are
Street.
in the K zone. Don't you, Chuck? Chuck thinks you're being a pill. I fucking love that piece. Oh my god.
Now that you said that, I have to watch that again.
Oh, I drag it out every now and then. I love it so much. I
I
think
was such a
it's probably
CBC
on
kid.
YouTube. Like, all the stuff's on YouTube. I don't know who put it there.
It's
There's
interesting, yeah, like,
there's
who
one fan on YouTube who opened a page called Paul Bellini, and it's not me at all. And it's a picture of Bruce as the poo guy holding the plate of poo, and I'm thinking, "I don't know who this person is, but I wish they'd give me my name back."
yeah.
It's very weird.
Oh,
Anyway,
that jerk.
ah,
Well, being the personality that you are, have you come across any? Because I was reading about you on Wikipedia where a lot of folks were giving shadowy men on a shadowy planet baking to take back to you, and I
well,
was like,
I remember a big cookie coming once in the green room.
I was
I
going to say, like, did the scones make it?
I don't know. Poor shadowy men, they were always involved in something.
Like, I'm sorry, if someone gives me baking to give to someone, maybe one cookie out of the entire batch is going to make it back.
The problem is you get food items, and part of you is always thinking, "Is this okay to eat?" You know,
True.
because you never know, and unless you know the fan personally, which happens a lot, by the way, um, but if it just shows up, you don't quite know what to make of it. It's digestible.
That's true because not everybody includes a list of ingredients, and you can't necessarily trust that there aren't, Lego pieces in there
Yeah,
or
or like
whatever.
urine or something horrible. I don't know. I mean, it's really weird. So it's very difficult accepting edible gifts
Yeah,
from fans.
that's true. What is the weirdest non-edible gift you've received?
Somebody gave me a necktie with a fish on it. It's quite beautiful. It's
Oh,
like a
wow.
fish. That was a really I think who gave it to me was the guy who won the Bellini contest, and we were in the airport.
Oh, yes, yes.
Airport in Kentucky, and, I remember at the time he was a tall kid with red hair. No, that's the kid from, Ottawa.
Oh, okay. I
He was
can't keep up
he
with
was
all the
really young.
vendors.
The other one is a tall redhead, and, we went to the airport, and I got into the towel, and airport security threatened to arrest us because of obscenity, and I thought, "Oh, my breasts must they're causing a riot here in Kentucky." So we had to rent a ballroom in order to shoot that scene.
Really?
Very tense.
That's so weird. Like, it's an airport. You're there for five
Maybe that's
minutes.
why though, because it's America, they're all crazy, so
True. I find
or
in Canada we're a little more easygoing.
yeah. Well, I get it, I get it. It's a public space, and we didn't have permits, we just or no, we had permission, but they didn't know what we were doing, so when
Okay.
I got undressed, it was a shock. Well, as it usually is, but especially so in Kentucky in this airport.
Oh, that's true. And I guess, I mean, I know back in the day, anytime I did kind of any films or projects with other people and we didn't have a permit, we literally would just jump out of nowhere, do the thing, and then run away.
Oh, you gotta get the shot fast.
Yeah, get the shot fast, run with the equipment, have a backup plan, and it never happened.
Well, we were a big TV show. We had producers and we had a budget, so we didn't have to do that.
Oh, that's true.
But still, there are times when you just wanna grab a shot and you don't wanna, you know, do 100 jump through 100 hoops to get it. The permit
That's
needs to include a towel next time, it's like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And a clause for semi-nudity.
yes, and semi-nudity.
Semi-nudity.
So I'm sure everybody probably asks, what do you wear under your towel?
Well, honestly, just underwear.
Yeah,
I've done some coy things like, "Wouldn't you love to know?" and all that kinda crap, but let's be honest, of course, underwear.
of course. I mean, let's be realistic here. It's Canada. It's cold.
Well, also, I mean, I'll tell you why the producers love this. Um, a towel guy segment, we usually could do it in 2 takes because there was no dialogue, so we often didn't even have to mic me,
Oh,
or worry about me blowing a line. Um, it was easy to light. There was no makeup. I mean, they do a little bit on my forehead and nose, like, just to take some sheen off my T-zone,
yeah,
but, there was no body makeup. That's the honest to God physique. Mind you, you're looking at I'm in my early 30s. I'm at my peak of my beauty. A little different now. Wait till you see my appearance in the new series in April. It,
yeah.
that'll be a shock because I'm a lot heavier and older.
Well, I'm really looking forward to that. Do you have any information about when it's going to air? Or
I just heard early April is a launch. There's some kind of a launch activity. I'm not sure what it's going to be.
okay,
And I'm assuming they're going to drop all 8 episodes at once so you could binge it. I saw some things. There was one sketch I laughed so hard. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's Dave Foley as a doctor delivering babies, and it was so funny. I almost puked. I mean, it was so really funny. The show's beautiful looking too. It just really great stuff. Great writing, amazing performing as usual, and it looks astonishing. Amazon spent a lot of money on it. So.
that's amazing. That's always nice to see because I mean it's Canada's to me it's Canada's like gem. You know,
That's sweet.
I can go anywhere in the world and talk about Kids in the Hall. People go, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen this, 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 and this, and this." You
Yeah.
just can't go wrong with that.
That's trippy when I'm in a different city and somebody recognizes me. That's trippy. It doesn't happen in Toronto, but a lot of times on vacation, um, people would go, "Oh my god, Bellini," that sort of thing, right? It's cute.
That's really cute. Yeah, it's got to be really interesting to have fans get flummoxed and freaked out and not knowing what to say or do or you
Well,
know.
it gives you some kind of weird power when somebody is looking at you and they're actually have trouble breathing, and I just think, "I'm causing this reaction? That is so cool."
That's true. I have yet to experience that, but I imagine it's probably quite an amazing experience.
It's
Oh,
weird.
that's just too funny. All right, guys, I got to play 2 commercials. We'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yay.
Hey, spooky friends!
I'm Dr. Mysterion.
I'm Catherine the Great.
Come join us on our new podcast, Hey, Spooky Friends.
Available on Spotify and Anchor.
All things paranormal, spooky,
Weird.
and somewhat bothersome.
That's you.
I think that's me. So we'll see you and you'll hear us
Yeah, both.
on our new podcast. See you then.
Hey everyone! Planet LIZZDOM now has a Patreon. Your help will allow Liz to make the show even bigger, cover costs, and help bring on celebrity guests. Go to patreon.com/Planet LIZZDOM and pledge now.
All right, and we are back.
Oh, are we? That was fast.
Fast
Like
commercials.
a real commercial break, like on TV.
No, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite the CBC. I'm more like the LIZZDOM out of Hot Mess headquarters. We still have a tiny budget. Oh my gosh. So, okay, I gotta ask, before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, you know, how has all of this been for you and doing all of these creative things? Because I know you just recently did something at Dead Dog Records before Christmas to do with Mouth Congress.
Liz, let me take this opportunity to shamelessly shill my product. So,
Yes.
Mouth Congress was a ridiculous band that Scott and I started with a couple of guys that we knew back in November of 1984, before he actually even joined the Kids in the Hall. And we kept going for about 6 or 7 years and then put it away because, we had Kids in the Hall to do.
Yeah.
Then I loaded up all the tracks to Bandcamp. My bassist Gord Disley suggested we should be on Bandcamp, and we got discovered by a guy who runs a record company in Brooklyn called Captured Tracks. And he said, let's do a Mouth Congress record. So the first thing we did was this adorable little 7-inch single called the Pollution.
Oh, cool.
And it's 3 songs that we recorded in a studio back in 1986, I guess. And it did well, but the thing is, it was slated to be released in April of 2020. So, of course, COVID destroyed all our plans for the release. Then you put up the album cover, Waiting for Henry. That's just came out. We were lucky. We were able to do the show in the record store and another show later that night. Before with the most recent, it wasn't really a lockdown, but the
Yeah.
quarantine over Omicron. But
Yeah.
yes, that's us in the record store. It was great fun. We did 6 songs, and it kind of made us want to revive Mouth Congress in some kind of way. I mean, we're not like a real band. We're not going to tour and shit.
Yeah.
But we just like to do shows. We like to create things. We like to write songs. It's fun for us. It always was. Being able to put out the record, I'm very proud because I always wanted an official record release. And you can listen to the songs on Spotify. You don't actually have to buy the record.
Okay.
All 33 songs that we released, I think, are on Spotify. But it's out there now. It's out there alongside records by Half Japanese and The Residents and other kind of bizarre bands, and Guided by Voices and all these other really eccentric, weird, niche bands that were big in the indie circuit. And we finally got our due, and I'm so happy. I mean, for me, it's just been like a 35-year capper, and we finally achieved something. I've always wanted to meet Scott. Well, you could conjure it, Chris.
Yeah, this is true.
Um, um, so anyway, Mouth Congress keeps me fairly busy. It's always going to be a side project. Kids in the Hall is a big thing. It's a big TV show. It's
Mhm.
uh, a major comedy entity. Mouth Congress is a very bizarre niche product. And like I said, we're not a real band. We're almost a parody of rock bands, basically. Although we're not really emphatically comedic. I don't think we're like Tenacious D necessarily, in that the songs are meant to be funny. Sometimes we like to be serious and soulful and sad, melancholic.
That's okay.
Music is music, and the
Yeah.
fact that Scott and I have 0 training in music and horrible voices has not stopped us from fronting a band.
And
We are entertainers, right?
well, and you make a really great point. It's not about how good you are at doing it, it's about doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very, very important point and message that you're giving right now. Do it. Do the thing.
Yeah.
Do it badly.
Um, my motivation has always been to make things, whether it was songs or artwork or sketches or movies or plays. It doesn't even matter. I like doing things. I like making things. Um, Part of it is a self-expression thing. You feel that you have a point of view or an idea you want to get across, but some of it sometimes is just for the sake of doing it. Like I make these little movies on cell phones, and I shoot enough for a feature length, and then I
Wow.
put it all together. And sometimes I show them, and sometimes I don't. And I just like doing it. It keeps me busy for 6 months. You know?
I absolutely relate to that. I recently got into TikTok for that very same reason, that it
How often do you
exercises
do
your
it?
brain. I opened an account about a year ago, but
Yeah.
the past 2 months, I've really started actively making things. I made a couple of things today that I can't wait to post because it's great for your brain. You put
Yeah.
together a story. When I was shopping for this really hideous shirt, I made a story about it. I saw something else funny in Value Village and I made a story about it, and it's really good for your brain to just Create. Put it out there.
Yes,
Create
you have
something.
that impulse, and it's a scratch that has to be an itch that has to be scratched,
Absolutely. Or a scratch that has to be itched.
or a
Either
scratch that
way.
has to be itched.
I'm actually dyslexic, so I get things backwards all the time, and I'm half French Canadian, so I'll say everything backwards too.
My excuse is actually I'm just drunk. So
I like that excuse. In fact, after this show, that's going to be my excuse for everything else I do tonight.
mm, I've been hitting the Portuguese table wine all day.
Oh my gosh, you know what I've always wanted to try? Night Train. Where it's a screw top bottle of wine. It's like $3 or something like that in America.
That sounds like a value.
Oh, it sounds amazing. It sounds like the hangover would be really bad.
Yeah, every morning for me is a hangover, whether I drink or not.
Oh man, the other night or the other day actually, I had a really funny moment where I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I need to rest. And all of a sudden I realized, but I am resting. What the hell?
Oh, that's great, Liz.
I need to rest, but I'm resting.
You need to rest from resting.
Yeah, and I was like, holy crap, am I that tired?
You know what?
Yes.
Thank you. You just gave me an idea for a mouth congress song.
Oh,
There
well,
you
I'm
go.
very honored.
I need to rest from resting. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and there in that lies the very definition of what I'm experiencing with my pandemic fatigue.
Oh.
I'm tired. I'm tired of being tired.
Yeah, I had a really good summer because we were denied so much that when bars and restaurants opened again, I was so excited. And I actually went out more in the summer than
Yep.
I normally would. And so maybe it's not a bad idea to actually shut down in the winter, make winter the most miserable 3 or 4 months of your entire life,
Yeah.
because then in the spring you can actually feel like a rebirth instead of just like, spring.
No, it's true. I would love to have some sort of clause or like you know how like maybe a couple of days off a month just to be a hermit or like the hibernation clause like for 3 days of each month in the wintertime you can sleep for 3 days straight no matter what.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do, just sleep.
I've always had what I refer to as Paul days.
Paul days, I like that.
All day means I don't leave the house. I don't even get dressed. I just pad around in my jammies
Yep.
and I do what I want. I watch movies. I eat crap. I blab on the phone.
Oh,
It's a zero pressure day with no responsibilities, and you just enjoy the Paul day because
absolutely.
the next day it's back to being a monster and getting a million things done.
I
And I
call it a TV pajama party.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
E.
absolutely. Let's see. What is going on with my computer? What's going on? Paul, I have a cat named Paul. You needed to know that.
I have a cat named Rochelle. What are the odds?
Oh. I have a cat named Jack.
There you go.
No, I like that you engage in that self-care. That's important.
Oh, I've always been like that. You have to have a little bit of selfishness, just a little. Paul dates for everyone, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, according to the Pope, I'm incredibly selfish because I do not have children and I have pets.
Donna wants to know: was there ever a skit of Towel Guy coming out of hibernation with bears, or was that a dream I had?
Oh,
That is a great idea, Donna, and please don't sue if you see it in any future episodes. Because it's out there now.
oh, I love it. It's out there.
You pitched it.
That's right. Oh, and Catherine's planning her next Paul day.
But Catherine's brilliant. That's why she
That's
knows.
right.
Take
Catherine's smart.
time for yourself.
I've known Catherine for more than half my life. I can attest she's smart
There you go.
and hilarious. Well, listen, Paul, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. You are just absolutely a delight. You're
Thank
a
you.
fucking delight.
It was a party. I enjoyed it mostly because I've been drinking through the whole thing. So
I love it. Well, I'm very glad that that you took my message and that you took a chance on this little show and showed up.
no, I'm always delighted to do podcasts and do interviews and stuff. I think it's when you get a chance to just talk about yourself for an hour without
Yeah.
having to pay a therapist, it's great.
Oh man,
So thank
absolutely.
you, Liz, for the free therapy session.
You are very, very welcome.
I
And you
feel
didn't have to unpack anything.
Oh, can I just do a quick shout out to my friend John Forget, who I know is watching, and he's a podcast maniac. He loves podcasts, and I hope he likes this one and is now a big fan of Planet Liz.
I hope so. I actually wanted to say hi to him as well because he kindly informed me yesterday that my broadcast time looked a little bit strange because I set this for 8 p.m., but somehow YouTube arbitrarily changed it to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific, yeah.
Yeah, still correct, but confusing to anyone who may not be paying attention to the time zone. So, John,
He has
thank
a
you very
keen
much.
eye, and he caught it. So there.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. And thank you to you, Paul. I really hope that we get to do a double chin selfie together at some point. Um, I'm absolutely serious. I am a big fan of you, and I think you're wonderful and marvelous. And I hope that I run into you on the streets of Toronto.
Thanks, Liz. In fact, when the weather gets nice, maybe we should. I haven't seen Chris in, like I said, at least 12 years, maybe.
Oh my gosh, come on over. We'll open up a bottle of night
Or
train.
yeah, or even if we just meet for a coffee or a beer or something. I'd love, like I said, I haven't seen him in ages, so it'd be a fun chance to do something this summer. You never know. Getting back to normal.
I look forward to it. I really, really do. And I look forward to what's going to happen in April. So please keep me posted. I'm going to probably know way before everybody else because I'm going to creep you and I'm going to let everybody know and promote the heck out of you.
I hope fans love it. From what I saw, I thought it was great. So, but I can't be partial. I always think everything they do is great. So,
I love it. Well, Paul, thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful, happy new year. We're halfway through January. I can't believe it. And I look forward to all the wonderful things that are to come for you.
thanks, Liz, and you too.
Thank you very, very much.
All right, take
Be
care.
well. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye. Man, what a great show that was, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I see so many people in the comments here. I could barely keep up, but thank you so much for everything. We can continue the chat afterwards as well. As always, I have to say, making this show is what keeps me going for you guys. And I know around the new year, quite a few people sent me beautiful letters of thank yous and encouragement, and that really, really meant a lot to me. And I'm going to print them out and keep them in a book because really, at the end of the day, Planet Lisdom is for you guys. It's about you guys, and I'm really, really glad and grateful that you bring me into your lives every week on your phone or your TV. That you make time for me. So, guys, if there's any other guests that you want to see, let me know because this show is for you. In the meantime, just in case you didn't know, we are syndicated on The Carney Show on Twitch on Fridays, now at 8 p.m. Jeff with a G, who's been commenting it tonight. Hi, Jeff with a G, is making really great content out of New York City. The Devil's Hour is a fantastic show. I absolutely encourage you to check it out. You can watch Planet Lisdom on his channel now. And if you like what I'm doing, please send me a little love at Patreon and be my patron. I have tiers that start at $5 and go on up. There's lots of benefits. And your support of me helps me create this show for you. You guys are helping me create amazing content. So guys, please definitely always tune in, turn on, and take part because we have a lot of guests coming up and you truly never know who's going to land right here on Planet Lisdom. So stay tuned because next week is also a new surprise. Be well, everybody. I'll see you soon.